to delay opening the Board of Assessors meeting to just take care of one business of liquor license extension to the Legion.
Oh, yes.
So if we can move right to new business, section 1, and I'm waiting for a motion to accept the
Motion to accept
extension.
the extension of the liquor license for the American
That is
Legion.
to include the porch,
I will
is what I understand.
Second. Yeah, you beat me to it.
Okay, nothing's changed, right, Michael?
Do you have a drawing?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Okay, it's 50 by 100 off the ground, off the building?
Yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
And that what it was last time?
It was a little bit smaller the last time.
Is it still in an area that's not just like on the ground? It's like it's in the deck, it's the deck, right?
No, it's off the deck, out 50 feet, across the, outside of the flag's 100 feet, and back in 50 feet. We're not gonna use that much.
But why, wasn't it just the deck last time?
One time we had it out over by the flag poles, but we didn't know that we had to renew it
Oh, okay.
every year. And we reserve that for like birthday parties, Legion picnic, things like that. People are outside cooking, you know, they'll have a drink
Oh,
or something,
right,
barbecue grill.
right.
It isn't gonna be something that's happening every day, all the time.
Okay.
And also when we do that, according to the state laws, we also have to rope it off
Yes, did you
and
do
mark
that?
it so that it's clear
Okay,
when we do use it.
that's fine.
So it's a grassy area.
It's the grass area and across some of the parking lot. Like I said, we went 50 by 100. We're gonna be inside of it. That way it covers us no matter what. That, you know, we're not over a foot or
And
something.
that's the way it used to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a motion.
Motion and second.
Oh, you want the second, okay.
Yeah.
All in favor?
all in between meetings.
You were all.
So you have to pick it up, are you gonna give it to them now?
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for taking your time and reviewing this.
You wanna come get
You
it
got it.
tomorrow, or anytime, just come in and get it.
Okay, thank you, Renee. Have a good evening.
You
Thank you.
do.
Night, Mark. See you, hon.
Is this what we're saying? Oh, right there. Too much, oh, right. Let's go back to, we're gonna close the selectmen's meeting and open the assessor meeting. We don't need to do any motion for that? Just close one, so moved. All in favor?
Ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, we're here this evening to,
Open assessment.
We're opening the assessor meeting at 6:05.
good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to consider abatements and supplements. There are 4 abatements on the agenda. Everybody have an agenda? And there's one supplement for 2017. The abatements are for 2018. So I'll go right through them. The very first one, account 1410. The house is uninhabitable. It has extensive mold, leak. It's basically trash. Extensive dilapidation. So it's now a damp, leaky storage shed. There's no way anybody can live in there. Okay. And so this represents a reduction in assessment. The next one, account 132. This site has been combined. The house and the garage are on one parcel of land, not 2. Okay, so it's been recombined. And of course, if you're familiar with this property, it's undergone a metamorphosis over the years. It started out as an old house. When folks bought it, they built a 2-story, what I call a carriage house, garage thing. And I assessed it as a site, you know, for the property, and then they rebuilt the house on the original site. And then they came and they presented to me the case to make it now a house with a garage, with an apartment over the garage, and that's what it is. So this abatement represents a reduction of site value. There's not two storefront sites there now. There's one, and that's how it's being assessed now, which is the proper thing to do, okay? Account number 2148. Oh, and they, still the tax bill on this remains at close to $8,000 a year. Okay. 2148. This was a life estate for both husband and wife who lived there. They own this property. They conveyed it to the state of Maine, and upon their deaths, it reverted and conveyed to the state of Maine. And so that's what's happened.
The state of Maine doesn't have to pay taxes for it.
No, they don't. They're tax exempt, just like we are. You know. So there you have it. It's quite a nice piece of land. But they were paying taxes on it until they passed. And of course, the state of Maine didn't get the paperwork to me until after the fact. The next one, account 114, was the owner brought it to my attention via a rather extensive letter about how the acreage on this parcel was actually .68, not .8 acres, and the abatement reduction is $81.51. And of course, the house is for sale now, I think, for about, what, $395,000 or something. So there's the total. Then down below we have account 761. This was an omission caused by we don't know what. They got a bill in 16, no bill in 17, and they got a bill in 18, and I never did anything. It just sometimes the computer, because of it, it's an old C++ type program. It'll just lunch data, and that's it. Here are the signature pages. Any questions?
Need a motion to accept the
I move that we accept
Abatements
these
and on the-
abatements and the agenda.
supplements.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
So if you have no further questions, I'm going to depart.
Thank you very much, Jim, for your hard work.
You're welcome. Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome. Good. Did you want this?
So we'll make a motion to close the assessors meeting after we sign these.
Well, actually, no, I'll make it.
Yeah.
All in favor?
I just want to make sure.
You would, Rick.
Thanks, Jim.
Clear the moose out on the way back, will you?
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's what I meant. That's already here by my side. That was exactly what I meant. So, the supplemental one, why do we have so many pages here to sign? Oh, we have two. The tax certificate. So there's two signature pages on the supplement.
Somebody could give me one of his agendas or something, I didn't get one.
Is it written
I have a check. A
Oh,
check
fine,
on
that's fine, if you don't, then you don't, no, Jim's
Not bad.
agenda, the assessors meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've written all over his.
Okay, so, we're gonna reopen the select board meeting at 6:10. I believe we need a motion for that.
Motion for that.
No, I don't think we need.
No, we don't need a motion for that.
Just
Do we
declare
have a
we're
second on,
reopening
we
it.
don't need a motion for that?
I don't think so. We need a motion to sign the warrants, though.
Well, there you go. Motion to sign the warrant.
No, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Oh, there's
I told you.
oh, you're just
we not have any minutes for the December one? Yeah, but we have to take minutes.
August
Let me do it.
21st.
Need a motion to
Motion
sign.
sign the.
Accept the minutes as written.
August 21st as written.
Second.
All in favor? So, under new
Yes.
business, we have the distinguished Senator Marianne Moore here to speak with us. We just have a little business to take care of with the Paper Talks magazine, which should take about 5 minutes, and then we'll give you the floor. I'm looking forward to that. So, Pierre?
Yes. First, thank you, Renee, for getting me on the agenda here. I'm assuming most of you are familiar with Paper Talks magazine. If you're not, I live over in Road Bluffs. I've been publishing for 43 years. It's a historical publication. The only reason I'm here tonight is because this year's front cover comes from Lubec. And we do business occasionally with municipalities who will support us. Some support us every year, some support us occasionally, some never support us. But I've printed out a series of pictures that are going to be in the next issue. And the cover photo is a cross-country team from 1967 from Lubec, featuring 7 of the lads who ran and the coach. I've pinpointed where they all are or what happened to them since they left high school. And that's going to be the feature story. And that, probably the best known guy in the picture is Carl Hood, who's still in town. Charlie Fitzsimmons, of course, is a legend. And Brian Greenlaw still returns here, I guess, every summer. So anyway, I printed this out, and at the very rear are a couple of proposed ads. If you do decide to put an ad in it, you'd be in the section from Lubec, and you would receive a quantity of the magazines. And probably 99% of the people who support Paper Talks do so to get the magazines, to get to their clients. Very few people are looking for any new business. And any questions?
No, I think it's wonderful that you're featuring Lubec. I'd like to hear from the board. How do we feel about putting a small ad in to get some copies for the, and to support the history that he's done for 42 years?
I definitely think we should. I mean,
That would be fun, yeah.
I think it's
So
admirable.
if we do one of these, we'll get 35 copies, is that right?
We get 50 if we do one.
if you go to the second to the last page, you'll see the small ad I've drawn up at the bottom. Town of Lubec with a photo in the background. That's my proposal.
Is that 1/18th of a
That's
page?
118, runs
Yeah.
232, and you get 50 copies of the issue.
I like the one with the lighthouse. too.
Well, first of all, that one's more money.
I know.
And I wasn't even gonna draw that one up, but as a salesperson, you always try
I
to
think,
get
you
people.
know, I would like to know if we could propose a joint cost for this magazine with the chamber.
I think that would be fine. I
We've
think
done
that
it
would be.
before, the
Yeah,
town
we
is.
just need to have, who is it, Deb Holmes?
The
Chamber Homes,
right
isn't the
now
cham-
is not going.
Yes, but it has everybody's money.
Right, but that's
So-
not the law, I understand. They're in the midst of trying to get all their taxes straightened out and all that
Well,
good
there's
stuff.
$1,400 they want on that.
Right,
Well,
that's what they're trying to straighten out.
let's just talk to Deb.
But
and
anyway,
see,
okay,
yeah.
so how about, then you wanna go with the 232 with 50 copies and just commit to it as a town?
Yes.
Since we have issues with the chamber?
I think it's a hoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need a
And it would
motion.
certainly be popular.
You agree, Sonia? Yeah. Okay. So I make a motion, we pay for the 1/18th page for 232, including 50 copies.
I
I
will,
said-
thank you so much.
Second, all in favor?
You should have changed the email from counter clerk.
We can correspond by email.
Thank you
Very
very
good.
much.
Thanks for paying.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Second to
I
Vern.
need the motion.
I was
Uh,
starting
Jason,
magazine as well,
Somebody
to
did.
look at the older people.
It's hard to retire from it. I could have finished 10 years ago.
No, they won't let you. They want you to
Told
feature
that,
it.
and so he was
Too
wanting
many
it.
people to do the work.
She's not.
Careful with that.
Susan.
Well,
Young
it's
people.
for the
It's young people.
66, 67, 69, and 81.
Do
Nobody
they
cares
not
about
have a
that.
board?
We're enjoying it.
Mary Ann, you are up next, and are we not so privileged to have you here with your busy schedule and all your hard work in Augusta?
Thank you.
And I know how hard you work.
Thanks, Carol, I appreciate that. And I don't know that I have a lot that I can really offer. I don't have anything formal to present, but I'm just like, far as can. But I did want to kind of bring up to date, Rachel and I were at a meeting together, so she probably knows a lot of this. But I want to kind of give you a little bit of history that after our meeting, when we met in Whiting, we all were on the same page about knowing what we needed to do. We needed property tax relief. We had lots of land that was taken off of the tax rolls, knowing what we were trying to do. So I did actually put, as I promised, I put a bill in. The process right now is a little bit different because we are going into our second session. So going into the second session, I'll use this as an opportunity, as a little education, but going into the second session, the bills that are submitted have to be of an emergency nature. So it's a little bit different than the first session where, my God, they put over 2,000 bills went in and we processed 1,800 of them, I think it was. So I did put the bill in, and what the process is that the bill itself, then we send it, by putting it in, we turn it into the revisor's office, who has the job of doing all the legalese and doing all the correct wording for it. Thank goodness, because as a legislator, there's no way in heck I would even know how to begin to write a bill at all. And so, and that's what I have done. And then what happens from there, because this is an emergency nature, it has to go before the Ledge Council. There's actually 11 members of the Legislative Council who then reviews the bills, listens to any public hearings that may go on about that, reviews the supporting materials, and then decides if it is indeed a bill that the legislative bodies will take up. Not very many of them get through. They have to be pretty strong things that are going with that. But I was feeling pretty confident about it until we had our meeting the other day.
So what stage are we, what stage are we in?
Well, let me go on and tell Carol, okay. So I did go ahead and put the bill in, and I put the title in as an act to assist municipalities in providing additional property tax relief where land is removed from tax rolls. That was the title that I turned in. They did ask for a summary that kind of gave them an idea of what I was trying to do. Municipalities throughout the state are continuing to see parcels of land taken off of tax rolls due to eligibility for various state and federal property tax exemptions, placing undue hardships on municipality budgets, oftentimes forcing property tax increases. With this bill, I'm proposing to allow municipalities to charge up to 50% of the assessed value to provide property tax relief if they choose to do so. So this was kind of, where we laid the groundwork. Well, in working and talking with Judy East, who is with the Washington Council of Government, that's not the full name of it.
Washington County Council.
Thank you, there you go, Washington County, that's right. And Will Toole was there as well, Representative Toole was there as well, as long as Rachel was there representing the town, and then there was a number of different players there, including Dr. Tora Johnson, who actually has been very actively involved, with identifying where we were and so forth. It was a very good meeting, and it was a very long, productive meeting. And what I found out in our conversation is that they are already starting to do a lot of work. And that they've got a coalition that has been formed that is analyzing and looking at all of this data. Not just Lubec, not just Whiting, but how has this affected all the towns? And so right now, they are on the data collection period, so to speak. And knowing that we need that data. In order for us to really get a good bill through, in order to get a passable bill, we really need this data information. So my concern is that I'm jumping the gun a little bit. And right off, they were very kind to me during the conversation.
I think it was also on us as well.
Oh, okay.
Because we felt we needed to give you more data.
And it was, really,
Yeah.
and I was very appreciated.
Yeah.
And one of the comments made is that when I say state and federal property tax exemptions, well, then I'm dealing with benevolent locations, charitable locations, so then that's nursing homes, that's hospitals.
Sure.
So it was
Churches.
way more, it was way more than, I'm thinking about the land,
Right.
conservation land over here, we're talking about, and we already know the federal and the state, like you said earlier, they're non-taxable. But it's more, there's other things that are not state and federal that have valid exemptions. Now granted, maybe they should be paying some property tax.
501c3s.
they're 501c3s, but like I know in Calais, we have the Methodist Homes, who they, in lieu of taxes, they pay the city $25,000 a year. And for that, we plow their, the roads in and out of them. And they just do it, they're not required to do
Right.
that. So they probably would be a location that would be willing, to do that. So I think the idea is that we want to really do this right, really make sure that we've got all of our ducks in a row. And I think that it would be worth waiting to 2021
Yes,
to
but
do
you
it
did.
properly.
Are you 2 years, 4
For
years?
2 years, so I'm gonna have to
So
be
we're gonna have to
reelected.
run on that,
That's
aren't
right.
you? Well, that
But-
sounds like a really good plan.
Yeah,
Data,
it
then,
really-
because you need defense, and
We
you
really
can't
do.
pick and choose who you're gonna,
Right, and
you're
so
gonna have to do an even
Give you
playing
more
field.
powerful language.
it really would.
A very immediate, urgent, yes.
Exactly, and that's what, and that's gonna be the selling point for the House and the Senate.
Mhm.
You know, as we're well, first of all, to get it out of committee, which would be number one, which is probably gonna be out of the taxation committee. And then once we get that out of committee, out to pass, which would be our main goal, public hearings, getting the towns
So
to
you're
comment.
still on the loop to do this?
No,
but
actually,
you pulled
I
it.
have pulled it. I've called
So
them.
you're gonna wait for the data for the
That's
regular session, so you
That's
don't have to prove it's urgent?
Exactly.
Because it's been ongoing for quite a
It
while.
really has. I mean, I was considering an emergency because I was thinking, can we really wait to 2021?
Right.
But after the conversation the other day, I think it would be worth waiting. I
Makes
think
sense
we
to me.
could get, and I really do feel that if I went before the Ledge Council right now, they would deny
Pass
it.
it out.
They would
And
say,
they are meeting September the 30th, I think.
is that what it is?
So we
Yeah.
are, you know,
And,
it's.
and
we're
I was
on target.
assured that, and I assure you all this too, this is a priority for all of them.
Mhm.
All the land use, the land
Mhm.
trust, they understand where we're coming from. And
Mhm.
they're not, they're taking, of course they're business people, they're gonna take advantage of what exemptions they can get. But they also realize now how critical it is to the towns. And you have to provide the services whether you have the tax money or not. And consequently, you're either having to do away with services like we did in Calais,
Sure.
or you have to raise taxes. So they get it, they're
Yeah.
But
not.
they're not gonna back, they're not going, they
Well,
might help, but
I don't know, Carol,
Well, as Renee
Makes no
said, we
sense.
still have to pay the bills,
Right,
you know.
and
And
understandably.
I think that the thing that we're trying to do is to eliminate that us versus them, you know?
Right.
It's like we need to
Let's
work
roll our sleeves up
cooperatively.
Yes,
and say
but
what
we
can
don't,
we do.
nobody will lobby to raise their required taxes.
Yeah,
No,
Not on
but,
that, they're not.
but-
There needs to be another side.
Right to do a moratorium,
yeah.
Right.
Ever look in there?
it would have to be a law, okay?
I don't know, I think moratoriums are local, so
I
it's
think
not
there's a-
something,
yeah.
I mean, it's just
I
like,
think you have to look into, some moratoriums you can do and some you can't.
and I'm not sure, you know.
That's why we have
Yeah.
a wonderful organization, Maine
And
Municipal.
MMA is
Yeah,
fabulous.
I asked, and I don't think we can.
No, I don't think we can, I didn't say
But if we
that.
had a
Well, but you know,
law,
there
it
was-
wouldn't enable us
Yeah,
to.
we've already
Yeah.
asked.
We asked them once already.
That will, we appreciate all you've done, and
No
thank you. You
problem.
will really definitely have your name on the map there if you get this done next
Well,
time,
this
so.
Well,
This
it's,
is
it's,
great
it's
style.
critical, it's really
Yes,
critical.
it is
Yeah,
critical.
Because
and-
it's just realistic.
You know, and like one of the comments we were talking about was in Whiting, I mean, they're being forced to
Yes.
put, 2,700 acres
Mhm.
Yes.
off the tax rolls because of some settlement for the wind farm in Ellsworth.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna,
That's
Whiting's
really
not
bad.
getting anything.
No.
And so
That's
now
crazy.
that wind farm is going out, well, maybe we should be good neighbors, and
That's
maybe we
awful.
should
Yeah.
do this, and,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of, there's a lot of coordination
Yeah,
going on.
it's also scoping out the inequities,
Exactly,
which
exactly.
not
And that
everybody
data
knows.
is gonna be good that
Yes.
you're doing
Yes.
that. They definitely need the,
So that data
that is
collection-
helpful.
Yeah.
So there's, some of the data is necessary.
And that's gonna be my ammunition.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
what we're thinking, it's
Yeah.
gonna be my ammunition
I
to get
agree.
to pass the bill.
Yeah.
And that way we can have a thorough, we can show the facts
Mhm.
and understand why and what impact it has, not only just in Washington County, that's statewide.
Yeah.
You know, we've got coastal all along
Yes.
the state of
It
Maine.
is.
Yes.
So what what affects us is going to affect other parts of Maine. So
Mhm.
the whole state is gonna
Yes.
be interested in what we do.
It
Yeah.
should be a statewide effect.
And that's
But
what
not
I'm,
the
what it
whole
needs to
state
be.
feels are this
No,
way.
they
Yeah,
don't.
well,
whole
people in the
state.
southern part of the state
But I'm
don't
hoping
feel
that's part of
anywhere near what we
part of
do.
the
But the
index,
western
in
part,
that you
they
put something in the land trust and you lose the tax base and you're down in, Kennebunkport.
they don't
So
care.
drop in
They
the
take that
bucket.
money and they put it in a
Exactly.
dish when they get home.
Yeah.
But when you do that up in Washington County, you're
It's
talking about
huge.
somebody's electric
And-
bill.
and some of the
And
western
it's
part of it.
statewide benefit,
Yeah.
if the
And-
conservation land is statewide benefit,
We
then the
can't
whole
absorb it.
state,
Right, no,
Um,
we can't take care of the whole
benefits,
state for that.
but it's all at a
Right,
local level.
it's just gotta be shared.
It's-
If I've always understood, it's been on the plate for years, just everyone's been afraid to open the door.
It's even more reason for revenue sharing to have gone back to its 5%.
And
Yes,
that
that's
was,
another
that was
thing,
a
revenue
huge
sharing.
conversation that
Yes.
we had, and if we're talking about property tax relief, then we really needed to talk revenue sharing. Well, I
Yeah.
had my bill in to restore it to 5%. It didn't come out of committee,
But
but there were 5 bills, and as a result of that, the compromise, if you want to call it that, is that we didn't accept the governor's
Mhm.
proposal. She had 2.5 and 3. Instead, we had the 3 and the 3.5%. But we also increased the homestead because we were knowing that homestead's going to affect the taxpayer directly. The revenue sharing helps the town, but it also affects, behind the scene, it affects
Yes.
the property tax owner. But it's more the money is going to the towns, not to the individual. So by raising the homestead exception to 25,000, the city is still, the town is still going to get up to 70 now instead of just 62, I think it is, or something. And so at least we're gonna try, we tried to put in for 100%, but that didn't make, so there was a lot of compromise and negotiations going on there. But at least it's the 25,000 and the towns will at least get some extra help with that. To make the difference of the 5 to from the 20,000 to the 25,000, and that's really what we were trying to do. But you're right, I mean, revenue sharing would be the #1 property relief, and that we're looking at. But we also need to consider this, and that's why we thought it best that we wait until 2021. I don't want
I
Lunch
think you made the
Council to
right
even
decision.
get in there, to start
Yeah.
poo-pooing it or making any negative comments about it or, anything
You
like
need to
that.
have
So
your guns in a row.
that's, exactly, that's how I feel. I called it ducks, but that's okay.
Well, Carol's a hunter, so she's.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm gun supporter, but yes.
It is ducks.
Absolutely, yeah, it is ducks, right?
Well,
We have a
I
style.
just want to thank you
Yes.
for all the work you have
Yes.
done, Mary Ann.
Absolutely,
You're doing a
And we
wonderful
want to be
job.
thorough. That was it.
That I
And
think
for
is the
coming
most
to
important.
Lubec, because we don't often
Yes.
see the legislators here. Thank you so much.
Anytime, anytime
Here,
that
could I
can
ask
do it.
one question?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to know, Senator Moore, it's like, you said there's a coalition already in Augusta?
No, it's not in Augusta,
No.
it's actually within Washington County.
Okay,
It's part of the Washington County Council of Governments.
so how would we contact that?
Talk to me.
She's a
Okay.
representative
I'm
on
on-
that coalition. I guess is it a commission or a coalition?
Well, it's Washington County, Council of Governments.
Yes, but the.
What we're
Spirit.
doing, we're just doing the database, I don't even know
I'm
what
trying
to call
to
it.
do a task force.
Task
But
force
we-
is
yeah.
probably
It
what would be a
came
better
out
term.
of the other meetings, and, actually it started last December, and
Yeah,
and I think it
that
was
was
then
part
that I
of
said
the
we
annual
needed to
meeting.
come up with a formula, or we need more data, and we need to build on this, and then it just kept snowballing, so, and then I volunteered stupidly to look for
No.
the data. I'm not a numbers person, so
Uh-oh.
but I said, we've gotta get the numbers, I'm like, sure, okay. But I knew that was important,
Right,
so,
right. Well, and sometimes
How you
not
doing
being
with that?
a numbers person is good because.
because
then
you know what to
ask-
look for,
And you ask the questions and say,
Yes.
well, what about this? And they go,
Yeah.
oh, we didn't think about that.
yes.
When we're
Yeah.
gathering the data, that's just as important. And so realistically, behind the scenes, well, what
Yes.
about, I don't know,
Yeah.
waterfront, or what
Yes.
about this, or what
Yeah.
about that? And so it is
Yeah.
very important.
It
to
was,
have-
and I think everybody in that group, and plus those online, they're all, have their own jobs and they're all doing a good job. I
Is
mean,
it
they're
open
all-
to the public, the meetings?
No, not really. No, well, it would be pointless, It would take away from the work at hand, I think, because we have a very tight
So
agenda
what
and
you
a
should do is
tight
have
schedule.
periodic public hearings.
Reports,
So,
sure.
Which
yeah,
would
the
be good.
report.
Oh, yeah, that would be
And-
good.
That was what I was
And they have
thinking.
promised to keep us in the loop
Yes,
as well.
yes,
So we will
Yeah.
know, I mean, it'll be the Representative Tool and
Yeah.
myself and
Yeah.
any of the other.
and you also mentioned Sarah Dedman,
Yes.
because she has written a fairly comprehensive article
On
about
water,
this.
and
And, yeah,
the working
certainly,
waterfronts,
yeah.
and so she wrote that article, so, and she's still a supporter.
Is she
Yeah.
part of the group?
No,
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 she
but
just does it
we
to
wanted
the
to keep her
editor,
in the
yes,
loop,
Oh,
with
in the loop.
information wise,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's so good.
so then she could publish that as news.
Sure.
When is legislation, are you back? No,
We don't go
when do you
back
get
until
till, like,
January, it's the
Oh, that's
official
fine.
It's a
time.
short.
It's a short, we go back, supposedly it's the first Wednesday of January, but that's New Year's Day. So it may be the following Wednesday, and then we'll go to the latter part of April. So it's just a shorter session, unless they extend the session. So that's kind of where it stands. Yeah, so what other questions, or?
Well, you said like with this, Rachel, what kind of data is your group gathering?
Well, for instance, we happen to have, fortunately, Lubec
Yeah.
happen to have that list of the tax-free lands and what,
Yeah, I
how they're
have that- I have
designated,
that
yes.
sheet.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I said, we need from everybody else, we need Edmonds, Truscott, Whiting, all of it, so we can combine that and put it together and try to get a picture. So that's one of the things that I have to do is get those things.
Are you breaking it up with land in the waterfront
All of-
land in land?
Well, I don't know that we specify waterfront, but we specify tax deferred property, tax exempt property. You know, like.
The different
you have there.
categories.
Yeah, the different categories of tax exemption. And that's what we want. I'm not sure that waterfront is part of it. I don't
Well,
think.
it's not specifically part of
Yeah.
it, but the working waterfronts end up being some of the conservation land.
Yes,
And so I
it
think
very
that's,
often is.
it very
Yeah.
often is, and
Well,
so
it's
that's,
the most tax property that we,
right.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
right.
It's
Yeah.
a re- you know, it
When that
is.
comes off the tax rolls, that's huge.
It is huge.
It is
It is
huge.
huge. It is huge.
Yeah.
But then again, too, the other thing that this group is also looking at is the economic benefits.
Mhm.
You know, and granted, it's, you know, like Katy National Park, oh yeah, that's all benefits for them. Well, just because we have conservation land here doesn't mean we're gonna have this flock of tourists that are going to be coming to it. So that was the other aspect.
And that's a mixed bag.
It is a mixed bag.
You know, that's,
It's
I
a
think
mixed
people
bag.
think because you're gonna bring a lot of tourists in, they're also gonna bring buckets of money. And then they also use the roads, because and that's where it comes back to, Renee, we still have to pay the bills.
Right.
So it becomes that kind of trickle-down economy, and it's
And that's why the
suspicious.
studies are to show, you know, the feasibility of it. Is it really to a benefit to that aspect? So that, all that data crunching is
I
going
can
to
see
be
where
so
land trust
valuable.
would be
Yeah.
important in that. But
Absolutely.
they, of course, have to know that they actually exist, what the land is.
Yeah.
And I think some of the land trusts have done that. They put that publication out, which is just Melissa Lisa was a combined trails of the area of where all of these lands are, because it's not gonna help the community if no one knows where they are.
That's exactly, you gotta get the word out, you're trying to get them to try to use it, you know, that would be the key. But I thought that was important, and, you know, one of their goals, I think, was, you know, yes, they're working on the data crunching, but the idea is to develop solutions.
Mhm.
You know, we can identify problems all day long, but if we're not coming up with solutions, it's not going to help.
Yeah,
It's not
you're
going to
absolutely right.
give the legislature,
Yeah.
you know, any
And
suggestions, you know.
collaboration is the key.
It's huge.
It is,
It's
yeah.
huge, absolutely.
And with the conservation groups.
Right.
Because
Oh,
again,
Yeah,
they're only doing what they're allowed to do.
exactly.
Well, you
exactly.
can't fault them for
You
that.
can't fault them, they're
Absolutely
good business people, of
Absolutely
course,
not.
they're
Right.
going to do that.
So until the law changes,
Mhm.
you can't blame them.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
the way that I want to word it, like, you know, we had talked about, is if the town chooses to do so. Because they're, like you said, Kenneth Bunkport, they're not
They
going to
don't
care.
care. Yeah.
But, you know, for us little towns, it's going to mean a huge thing. So that's why we're giving that flexibility. That's, because I
Yeah.
still will probably work with that, you know,
Yeah.
when we do the
And
2020.
for us, we had fishing as our big economy. That was our tax. We don't have that as
No.
much anymore. Now we're going to have these conservation lands, which are, and what are we gonna do?
Yeah, what are we gonna
This-
do?
Yeah,
Yeah, how is it going to benefit us? And
Sure.
that's really
Well,
what, you know,
we do
want-
not have
From
an
what I
industry.
figured out, every piece of land that comes off the tax rolls, an equal and opposite and better piece of property needs to be developed.
Mm.
So
to keep an even
That's-
balance on it,
so-
yeah.
Well-
I'm not gonna get on a soapbox.
No, but here's,
But
here's,
that's
here's,
what
well,
you
here's,
said, everybody
You
that
said
comes
about
and
meetings,
hikes
right?
on the,
You
hikes
go-
on
but
the
here's the
trails,
next-
kayaks, you see a for sale sign on a blank piece of property,
Buy
buy it and build. That's
Right,
how
but
they
here's-
can
but
help
here's the
the
other,
town.
but here's the other economic
Right
feasibility,
about that.
is that you have, for instance, when you go into Acadia National Park and all of their land conservation, but once you hit Surf Road, they charge you $25
That's
a
right.
car.
Yes.
That's right.
So, yes, there's a nice little green bucket at the Red Lighthouse that says, if you like, you know, and I think they get 2 doggy bags and $1.
Yeah.
If there was a little more fee to that, potentially. And I think now, actually, Bar Harbor's got parking meters.
We have
Yeah.
no
And they're
business.
making
Huge.
money hand
No
over
business
fist.
license.
We don't do anything.
No,
We don't do anything like that. I joke with
We're
people when they
open
park down on Water
business.
Street, I go, I'll watch the meter for you, you can go.
Yeah.
we don't,
No, I mean, it's,
Right.
there are
Well,
opportunities there that we don't
Lubec
do.
used to have parking meters, I heard years ago.
Yes, there were.
Years ago I did.
The way I
I
get it
was
figured
really
is
surprised.
we're down right around $500,000
Because of the new,
in
yeah.
tax revenue.
And so that's what that's the data that we need to prove and say,
Mhm.
here's Lubec, here's Whiting, here's this, here's, we have the facts. And I
How many
think that's
visitors
gonna
go
be
into the park, you know, the West Quaddy State Park, and if you did a $10 thing, you know, let's say it was, for argument's sake,
They're
20,000
state,
people.
But that's
correct?
still stay.
Yeah,
So-
but then it
But that's all
would
about the
help towards the
revenue
revenue
sharing,
sharing.
it's like
Right,
revenue sharing
right.
again.
here, what I'm seeing is that people put their homes up for sale. Then the people that have been here fall in love with Lubec, come and buy the homes that are already built. That's kind of what's happening right now. People are passing away, they're either getting foreclosed on, or they're just selling out to move somewhere that's cheaper,
Because
or
we can't afford it.
because they can't afford it.
Yeah,
So we're not really seeing the new development.
But that's, I think, a stage.
It's just
I
kind of
mean, we're just not
changing
there
the
yet.
population.
It's gotta be, well, there's nothing else to refurbish, redo, get redone, and certainly it takes more money to come in and
And I will
filter
say,
in
when I
here.
drove into town, there's a quite a bit work being done on some
There,
of the.
Oh,
there,
you
there
can't go
is,
down the road
there
without
is
seeing
development,
it. It was
and some of it you
amazing.
can't see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing, and I was like, wow, okay,
And
this
even
is
if they
good
fix up the
stuff.
houses, what that can increase
It
revenue.
increased the
Yeah.
value of the home
But we
itself.
don't, we're just.
And I think we as a select board have to keep our eye on this development because it can quickly get out of hand. You know, and pretty soon you've got a town that looks like a mishmash.
Right, and you don't really want
And
that.
you don't want
So that's
that.
where you get into the historical area.
Yeah,
You're
but
kind
you
of like,
get, no, once you get into a zoning area.
yeah,
Zoning and
yeah,
ordinances.
that's true.
Yeah,
Zoning
and you do
ordinances.
have to,
Right,
you know, many people here don't want that,
I know.
but it's almost a protection
It is.
when you
It's
start
preservation
expanding.
is what it ends
Yeah.
up being.
Conservation was gonna be a protection, Rachel, but I
Well,
don't
it
think
is,
we're
but it's-
seeing, we're not
It
seeing
is, but it's
that
taking
there.
money off, but it's
Yeah.
taking money off
Yeah.
the revenue sharing,
Yeah.
then it would
Yeah.
definitely benefit.
Well, I think
There's
that
no protection.
Marianne has done a wonderful
She's done a
job to
Yeah.
actually have the courage to
Take it on.
Like I said,
consider
nobody
putting
wanted
a
to open
bill
the
in.
door,
Oh,
so it's
right,
nice that it's
that's
Yeah, and I
really good.
appreciate you guys starting, I mean, this is it was a great conversation to get started,
Yeah.
and we're not done. And I feel very confident that I will be in, constant, and they'll be keeping me informed as to what's going on, so that I can continue to talk on it.
And I'd like to thank everybody, I think we had that representation in Whiting,
It
All
was,
five
it
of
was,
them.
it was, it
all
was
five
great,
of them,
it was
yeah.
very, very good.
I mean, I go to many towns, and I hear the
He's
same
a
things
trash
from all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's not,
He's also a contractor.
he's a contractor. He's a,
I hear the same things from all the other towns,
Yeah,
and
And he does.
believe me, I'm all around, so.
and so that's why we're
Yeah,
hoping to
started.
be everybody's voice. You guys started it, Whiting was there, and they're hurting as well.
yeah,
And there's some things, but it's getting that
You
out there.
represent the majority of
The
Washington
entire,
County?
all of Washington.
Well, there you
I
go.
am all of Washington County, so
Yes.
there you
Yes.
But they all end up in Lubec.
go.
All of them.
Who does?
All the people, the
yeah.
visitors, they come
They
to our
come-
lighthouse,
they
they
come to the
flock to
lighthouse.
Lubec.
Or to go across to Campbell Island.
The rest of the
Well,
county.
Well,
does
it's
have
not
as much.
unusual to have a traffic jam downtown in the summer. We're just like, what's going on?
That's okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, that's right.
If we do have, if you do have an opportunity to say something, I thought about something the other day, I was talking to, I can't remember who, an ex-congressman from Washington, that if you have this conservation land on Lubec, and we're like the end of the cul-de-sac, we're like the end of Maine, every single person, if this is here, the benefit would be that they all have to drive from southern Maine all the way here, so everywhere they're
Oh,
coming,
that's a
they're
good
driving
point.
through,
All along the way.
eating,
Spending money.
drinking,
Mhm.
spending money, going to the gas station, and so
That's.
Well, that was part
their
of the-
destination.
And part of
It's a
part of the
state-
conversation we brought up
state,
was a two-nation destination.
yes,
So if the state's advertising it,
Right.
so put your money where your mouth is, which
yes,
is,
so I think it
part
needs
of
to
that
be
two-nation
equally
is-
shared by
is
the
here.
state,
And I know-
because they're benefiting from
Right,
it.
Yeah.
right, and they are working very closely with New Brunswick.
Right.
And that because of that, for that exact reason.
And so work closely here.
But my frustration that I felt, and we felt that with the Chamber of Commerce in Callis, is that New Brunswick was great and wonderful, but they were talking to people in Augusta, right?
Mhm.
Wait a minute, what about us in Washington County?
Right.
You know, we're right here, we're your border crossing. You know,
That's right.
This is where we
That's
need
right.
to cross.
Yeah, because we're technically the nation of the two.
That's right,
And-
you know, and half of the circle, you
Right.
know, or whatever you call it, you know, that's what we're looking at.
Well, that's why the bicycle tour
Right.
that
The
Natalie
East
does
Coast,
is
the
just
East
lovely.
Coast Greenway,
Yeah, and
And
it's crossing into New Brunswick, and it's a
Right.
wonderful way to combine.
right, it really is.
And our marathon.
Right,
Our
oh,
marathon
it's
is a
huge,
boost
Very
for
good.
that,
it's
yeah.
huge,
Huge.
very,
Yeah.
very good. And so many people come out and, I mean, I know when I walked it the first time, I mean, it was excellent,
Yeah.
everybody was there,
Yeah.
on both sides.
Yes,
You know, that's what was so
Yes.
nice about
and
it,
it's
you know.
brought us together.
Yeah.
It really has.
It really has.
There's a lot of different names. My 18 years with Timbro, there's all different kinds of names.
Yeah.
There is good names.
That has also attracted more people to come here. It's
Oh, yeah,
unbelievable.
right,
Yeah.
because they never knew about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I never saw
Never
it.
realized how beautiful
And
it
that's
was.
the thing about getting on the marathon circuit.
Yes.
Which was a really good idea, because then they'll come back. I mean, all the motels are full, all
Oh,
the bed and
yes.
breakfasts are full, you know, which is.
It was a very wonderful, wonderful thing that you sat
Yeah.
on, Rachel.
Yeah, yeah.
I
it
had a
was
little
so
part
cool.
in it,
Yeah.
but you
She
did,
was- yeah.
you worked very
Yeah,
hard.
it
I was
was
on the original committee with,
John,
but it was
yeah.
just, it was amazing that it happened. And so
Well, it was
what
a
is it,
fun
the
thing to do.
seventh
We had
year,
a
the eighth
leader.
year
It's
now?
still continuing, yeah.
Yeah, we have a leader who, John Huff, who is the most organized man I have ever met in my life.
Really.
He doesn't, everything is organized.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had a
And
lot
now
of
it starts to
meetings.
run like clockwork,
Oh,
because
yeah,
it's been
it's
so
a
successful.
regular, yeah.
Yeah, well, and adding like the 10K, that's what I did last year with the 10K, you know, and it was like, but adding that brings even more interest.
Sure, it does.
Yeah.
I watched, Jason, how about you? What did you think?
You cheered us
Yeah,
on,
yes,
that's what it
yes,
was, right, exactly. What other questions can I answer, guys, like?
We just would like feedback
I'm
and
just glad,
every
I'm
once in a
glad
while.
you came tonight. I
That's
really,
Yes,
really
it's
thank
very
you.
wonderful.
I appreciate that.
Our honor, yes, thank you.
Yeah, and I see it's getting foggy out, so
I
be
know.
careful.
I'm gonna head
Yes,
home.
no, thank you so much.
You're welcome, guys, absolutely. So if there's anything I can do, please let me know and keep me informed too.
Yes, yes, September 30th is the next
Is the
meeting,
next
so, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great,
Okay.
awesome, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes,
Interview regarding the bill that you're looking at?
okay,
That's going to reach out.
okay.
Well, you
Probably
have a
my
card?
home phone number. Well, I
Okay.
think it, no, I didn't bring my
Okay,
personal.
hopefully
So it's 454?
456.
Okay, well, they're doing that. The next thing on the agenda is summer recreation scholarship overview.
Great.
I put this on the agenda because, I had some conversations with Dana after we withdrew the revisiting of the scholarship. Apparently, when the town people voted for the 12,000 for the LCOC scholarship, with the stipulation that it had to go to Lubec children for either scholarships or sliding scale. One of the things that was pointed out was that what didn't specify how we gave them the $12,000. We just earmarked it for scholarships for children, so we've been bouncing some ideas around, and one thing I thought we might want to consider is giving all Lubec children, I guess it's 5 to 12, the ages 5 to 12?
So you just want to take,
All Lubec children, 50%
Take-
scholarship without any financial restrictions. With the point being that all children should go to camp.
what if you
and-
took the number in the camp and just divided it by the 12,000?
The number, attending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if 60 people sign up, you divide that by 12,000,
Because we already voted for it to go to Lubec children, that's
no,
something
to
we
the
can
Lubec
revisit.
children. No, I know that's where it's gonna
Well,
go.
I think
I agree
the
with you,
point
Dave.
is that they're gonna come to the town,
Yeah,
and they're gonna sign up, and we're gonna advertise that the town is giving out scholarships to the camp for 50%.
Right.
Right, but I'm saying if we're excluding the sliding fee, what I'm saying is, so let's
Yeah,
say
we're-
40 kids sign up.
Right.
Okay, we got 40, it's closed, we're done, 40 divided by 12,000. If 65 kids sign up, and they're signed up and ready to go for
Well,
something,
I
then
don't
65 divided by
think we have
12,000.
65, I think
I'm
we
just
said it
saying.
was 53 people that we could afford to give 50%
No,
scholarships,
I agree.
depending that the
But what
tuition
happens
stays
if
the
it's
same.
55 kids?
yeah,
I don't think,
the fairest
well,
way.
this is just for 1 year, and we can find out from Tina who's enrolled.
I'm just saying, that seems like an easy way, it's the town's money, and that's where the money
I
goes.
I like that, Dan. I mean, that
Well,
is the
what-
fairest way.
That's
We
exactly
had,
what we said, except I'm not sure what you're saying, it's
Well, 'cause
different than what we just said.
because you were saying cut it in half.
Yeah,
So if there are 30 kids, and it costs $500
Oh, you wanna
and half
take
get
the pot,
$250.
oh, so
Take
you
the
wanna
whole
take all
pot
the
and divide it
Lubec
by how many
kids,
kids you got.
so, okay, I see what you're saying, so then you could give them more if there was less kids going.
Right,
And
or
As long as we
less.
spend the 12,000.
And if there are
Yeah,
more
yeah,
kids,
yeah, yeah,
if there are more
yeah.
kids, it's less, but it's gonna be, it's not gonna be that
Okay, so
substantial.
everybody
for
sign,
40 or
everybody who's
60.
Lubec signs up for the camp the first day or whenever. And then we take the scholarship money and divide by the
By
amount.
the amount of
Whether
kids.
it's 40 or 60,
Yeah,
right,
okay,
no,
makes
man,
sense
that's a
to me,
good idea.
okay, make a motion for that,
I'll make a motion, we accept Dan's proposal.
okay. Which is, and is there a cutoff time when they sign up? Because if they sign up 30 weeks in, then they've already,
No,
there's no money
you need
left.
to be, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think it should be fully enrolled for the
The whole,
program.
whole
Yeah.
program, I agree with you.
Correct.
They need to sign up for all 6 weeks.
Yeah, scholarships
Second.
availability
For the-
are
for the
up
full-
until the first day.
You know, is subject to
Right,
full
And
enrollment
that's
of
another proposal.
program.
So the Lubec scholarships are subject to full enrollment. What if they're going away for 1 week? I mean,
What if you have
So they're
daycare and go
going-
away
they're
for a week,
going
you still
and
pay?
they're
Right.
signing up for the
No.
full 6 weeks. And then we are gonna take our money divided by how many Lubec,
Right.
qualified Lubec residents means they have to live in Lubec.
Yeah, it's just like anything else,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
you pay daycare and you go on a 3-day vacation, you still pay the
Okay,
daycare, so the
so-
scholarship is still applied.
Sonia second.
So
There's a-
do they come to the town office to sign up? Or do they go
No,
to
I
I would
go
think
to
to the
LCOC.
school and LCOC, and then
LCOC
they can
brings
give
it
us
to,
that.
so they have
Yeah.
that first week.
Yeah.
The nice news this year, we've had 10 new children come to our school.
Oh,
That's
that's
nice.
wonderful. I was just gonna say, do you know the enrollment?
I don't, no, last year I think it was 64 K
60,
to 80.
yeah,
But
64,
only,
61,
but only,
somewhere in there.
7th and 8th grades can't go to camp, correct?
See, I don't know how they.
I think it's
set it.
12.
I think,
Five
I
to
think
12.
she's trying to gear some of those older kids
So
as kind of
another
counselor
program.
But
type
you can
things.
also
Yeah,
offer,
I
yeah.
didn't hear
And I
that.
think that's a nice idea,
Yeah.
that's a good,
Yeah,
you know, transition.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember in the past. Do you remember a few years ago when they were
Why don't we
cutting
finish
up the
this month?
schools? Well, yeah, this may have something to do with it. They were dividing up the schools and some of the kids had to go to Edmonds.
Yeah.
Yes, we remember that.
Those kids still live in Lubec, though.
No, they live in
No.
Trescott.
That's
Trescott.
And they paid to go to the school.
Yeah.
Trescott paid
Oh.
us to go to the school, which is
Right.
why they were included in the camp. Because
Okay,
we
well,
were
then that was-
given $7,000,
okay.
$8,000 per child.
That's where I was going. Trescott needs to give money back to this summer camp
Yeah.
for
But
kids that
you
really
know-
are in Lubec.
You guys, I mean, like somebody mentioned at another time, maybe Campobello would be willing to, you
Yes.
know, fund some money,
Yeah.
or the state, even
That's
ask
really
the
up to the
state.
program to go to
Yeah,
Campobello.
and that's the
Trescott,
program,
not us.
because you could go to Campobello, once you would know what the number
Yeah.
is.
That's
Yeah.
what John
It's-
Huff did.
And then go to
It is.
Campobello, say, if you
Campobello.
wanna put in that amount of money to send your
Yes.
5 kids, then.
The director
I think
needs
it's
to go-
reasonable to ask these other places.
Yes, and that's what the director's
Yeah.
job
Right.
is.
Yeah.
Not ours.
It's up to the director's job to do
That's why
that,
they
not
do
us.
all the
That's why
paperwork.
we're
I
doing
reached
Lubec.
out to her.
That's why they do the paperwork and just give us the numbers.
Yes,
So if I could just ask for clarification.
No.
I think the motion needs to be repeated, I agree.
Yeah, to be eligible, they have to sign up for the whole program, and they have to be from Lubec. And then whatever the number is, 20, 60, whatever the number is, that number is divided into the $12,000.
Correct.
And that's what
And
they
that
get.
goes per student
Yes,
to LCOC.
Yep.
that way that would give LCOC the 12,000 and also give the children extra help.
Plus it'd be your accountability.
But I-
for the
That's-
12,000.
But I
where the
do
money's
think that
supposed to
it's
go.
our responsibility as the scholarship provider to advertise this
Mhm.
and not the LCOC. And I think that the town has
No,
to
I
say
agree.
that we have to put it on the paper, we have to get the word out that this is what we're doing.
Yeah, I think it might be something for Nancy to deal with is to send a letter out to like Trescott and Edmonds.
Well, you know,
And maybe
you're
Campobello.
micromanaging a program that it's not, it's none of our, it's not.
No,
our-
I mean, I
that's-
could suggest it to her,
Well,
and she
that's
could
right,
take it, I'm not
yeah,
gonna
but
do
we're
it.
talking about what,
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
select board, it's all about Lubec.
Yeah,
So the motion by Jason to divide 12,000 among all Lubec residents for scholarship.
Yeah,
Is that
she
word
said,
right?
Fully
No,
enrolled.
no, you have to say that the motion is to
Take the,
all the Lubec children that are eligible to enroll, that is enrolled by, you have to say, you have time frame.
Right.
That is
by
enrolled
the requirements
by the first day of camp, whatever, that amount is
That amount's
divided by,
divided by the
and
twelve
the check
thousand
is,
dollars, which
and
is
the money's given
awarded
to LCO.
specifically to just Lubec.
So the deadline then is
I
the
would-
first day of camp?
I would say so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of that children are enrolled by the first day of camp.
How about this, all Lubec children must enroll by the first day of camp
Or
to
for
be
the
eligible for the
scholarship. Yeah.
Lubec
Right.
scholarship.
Which should help them also with numbers and
Yeah.
as well.
Which
so.
Yeah.
will be, and I will be a minimum of 50% because all the children, it's not gonna be, it's gonna maybe more than that.
Yeah,
They need to know what scholarship they're getting before they enroll.
Mhm.
I think you can say there's gonna be a minimum of 50% because there's not enough children to make it less than that.
Some years they've had wonderful.
But we'll get the
You're right
figure.
on the-
Yeah,
We'll ask Tina for the enrollment between
Yeah.
the 5 to the. What about
Okay.
children that visit?
well,
in
then
summer?
children that visit the parents will pay
They usually have a daily.
they'll have
Mhm.
they have some monies that they take out. I know that people that are 2 or 3 houses down from me come here from Ireland, and they are very excited about their children going to LCOs. As a matter of fact, I think
I
they've
think that-
actually donated extra monies to the
Do
program.
you wanna read the motion back?
Okay. It's
Sounds like
basically in
it's
2
like
parts. So the
yeah.
first part, divide $12,000 among all Lubec residents for scholarships. All Lubec children must be enrolled by the first day of camp to be eligible for scholarship.
I like
Does that work?
Yes, because then they can give us the
Seconded
figure
by
that first
Sonia.
day. All in favor?
That was a great idea.
Yes.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Mm.
It definitely solves the problem that we spent the whole 12,000. That's what I like
Just
about
a
it.
couple of appointment papers.
Okay, so we have appointing Joanne Case to the Budget Committee. Excellent. Who would like to make a motion to appoint Joanne Case? to
I
the
move
Budget
that we
Committee?
appoint
Everybody all at
Joanne
once.
Case.
Second, all in favor? Great. Oh,
So everybody agreed and everybody's happy and
I can't do this.
Need motion to drop Dennis and Tuska to the, what?
Safe Harbor.
Safe Harbor Committee.
Marvelous. Sign it, Dan.
Oh, we already, don't I need
It's a
something?
vote.
Motion.
Oh, I move that we assign, appoint Ralph Dennison to the Safe Harbor Committee.
So moved.
Any discussion, all those in favor? Beautiful. There you go.
I guess we did it.
Moving right along.
You only need 3 signatures on appointment papers anyway. So we're
Yeah,
good.
Joanne will be happy.
All right. Now, oh, yeah, well, I do need to sign that one. Actually, everybody better sign this one.
We're getting her back.
Yeah. We can sign phony names.
And they make for very lively. but-
Oh, my
We
goodness.
can put things like Joan Crawford.
I'll make up some faux ones with Mickey
Yes.
Mouse and all.
So last but not least on the agenda this evening is
I got one more thing.
okay, well, this one is still on the agenda. We can do other business in a minute. The sidewalk grant. So I did a lot of work with both the engineers and the state this week after the special town meeting. And we worked out some dates that I'd like to run by you. One of which is a pre-bid meeting. First of all, to advertise and put it back out to bid the 2nd and 4th week of September in the flooding tides. And then as much as I wanted to try to take the whole project on as a town, there is some requirements by the state that the fielding of questions must be responded to in writing. I don't think the town is qualified to respond to engineering questions in writing. So they highly suggested that we need to use CES in the bidding process. I have spoken to them. They have to answer the questions. Someone has to answer the questions, and they have to be in writing.
And they would have
So-
to be the CES.
Yes, it would have to be. We can't answer them. They've agreed to come to a pre-bid meeting, and I'd like to know if you would want the pre-bid meeting to be mandatory or non-mandatory. If it's non-mandatory, they've suggested that, because then they can still submit a bid without coming. I've already done some calling to contractors. I know of two that are gonna bid on the project, local contractors that have worked with the state, so that's encouraging. We still have a resident engineer on call for the spring project that we accepted his bid of 30,000 if we go forward. So he said he would be available in the spring. The other date is to have the bids in the town office by November 12th at 4 p.m., where we would open them on the 13th of November. And I think it's a good timing because contractors want to know what they're doing in the spring. And I think part of the problem with the project was they put it out to bid too late. Everybody was already booked for the whole summer.
I will tell you right now, a good contractor is already busy come next spring,
Okay, well,
most of them.
I've already got a couple of people that are interested in the spring. You could say
You
what
can
you
only
want
do what
about
you can
good
do.
contractors, so
Yeah.
you're already alluding to the fact that people that put in bids for the spring are not good
Well, no,
contractors, is that what you were
most of
saying?
them- No, I'm saying everybody's busy, and they're usually
Gotcha.
booked.
Gotcha.
But we have apparently found some who are more than happy to help you find
So,
town.
the construction to be completed by June 19th, because that's 1 week before the marathon.
And what happens if they don't?
Well, it's written in the.
Well, they will have to
They're written in
stop.
the bid package this long as to the penalties
I was gonna
imposed.
say, because usually there's penalties if you.
There are penalties. The one contractor I did speak to said that they could probably do groundwork at the end of April because the cement, asphalt cement opens, and Jason, you would know that. May 1st, is that when you can get cement?
All depends on the weather.
So typically, what's the,
Could be April.
you could, but May 1st
You
is
can
the
get it all-
latest,
You can get it all winter long. I mean,
like to do an outside job.
we did
It depends on what it
Bucksport
does.
Bridge all straight through the winter. I
Yeah.
mean, it just depends.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at all of month of May and 3 weeks in June. And I think they projected that there would be 4 weeks of, well, we had to have flyers and all that. That's why we hired the resident engineer for 4 weeks. Oh, we're going to. We have him on hold. We have and he's agreed to the same price, right?
He's gonna try to hold it, yeah.
Try to hold it to the same price. So we'll just see what the bids come in as. And I did have CES agree to not bill us anything for this work until after the bids come in. I don't want our opt-out price to increase at all. So that's how I was able to
But
do it.
this is finished, let's close off the street and have a block party. This has been so long coming, everybody will celebrate when it's finished, dancing in the street.
And I believe that we may be able to get cement instead of
Yeah.
asphalt, so we're working on that right
As
now.
long as we
And
can
little
cover it.
bits of color.
I don't know about the glass, but,
We'll slip it in.
so
overnight.
actually, we need a motion to accept
One day.
these dates.
I just had one, I'm not familiar with all of this, Carol, but is it gonna be all of Washington Street?
The project goes from Flatiron Corner all the way to the park, so it actually goes around the corner to the park. And I think there's 3 crosswalks. And it's ADA approved, so it's an average of, I think, was it 4 feet or 5 feet? Between 4 and 5 feet wide, depending on, and all the rights of way have been done. So now it's just a matter to see if we can get it completed.
At the
What was that, Jason? 4 or 5?
Sport.
It's 14. Okay, that's
I
quite
think
enough.
this will take that section of the Flatiron Corner, is it gonna start right there with the grass?
Well, you know, we have plans that you're welcome to look at anytime
I
you want.
want
Right up
you
there in the
to.
office, you can look
Thank
at
you.
it. Anytime, you just come up here and open them up and look
You
at them.
betcha. I'm
So,
here tomorrow.
I need a
Bring
mo,
Renee a cup of coffee or something.
I need a motion
Cinnamon
to
roll.
accept these dates, that we advertise, that CES has to do that bit of the bidding that we,
So moved.
Yes, yes.
and all the dates, October 15th, November 12th for the bids, and construction at the end of June 19th.
Still moving.
Still moving. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
5-0,
Yes.
any opposed?
Okay, Renee, you're on. You said you had some business.
Good news, the 30-year
Right, I forgot about that.
renewal for the submerged land where our sewer treatment plant's outfall pipe goes
Was approved.
has been accepted by the Department of Agriculture, Conservation Forestry, Parks and Lands. So we need to sign, or
I make a motion that we allow Renee to sign.
Yeah, second,
Yeah, third.
All in favor? Congratulations on that.
yes.
She pointed out that it will be not come due again until 2 years after she's retired.
And we'll be dead, right?
32.
Well,
I'll
I
be
don't
here.
know, I'll be
I'll be
100.
here.
Yeah.
I'm planning on sticking around for a while.
I just can't believe it's 30 years
I
already.
know.
who seconded it? Dan, everybody did.
Yeah.
Somebody. We all voted yes. Did we vote?
Yeah.
Okay, we did. We all said yes.
Committee
All right.
updates, we're all on one. Okay,
Oh.
how about we adjourn?
Yes,
Um,
wait a minute,
Val,
committee
second.
updates, committee updates. Sonia, you
I'll
have-
start, RLF, I believe.
Usually start down there. We always start
Well, I
at the
gotta,
end.
I gotta look at that.
Sonia, you have shellfish the first Monday of the month at 6,
And the first Monday was a holiday, so is it next Monday?
probably.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
you'll have to get with Amanda. And it's too bad you couldn't
That's
do
what I
your
had wrote down from
Yes.
everybody.
Jason.
I was a bad boy and I missed it.
I know. Harbor Board was is normally the third Thursday of the month, third Monday, what is it now? Thursday or Monday, I lost track.
Monday.
Changed to Monday, right? Monday.
Third Monday at Harbor?
Yes,
Third.
third Monday.
No,
At 6, I know I
Yeah.
texted you, it's okay, they didn't have a quorum, so, you know, they didn't do anything, because all they said was, we're making money on the transient moorings.
Oh, yeah.
I just collected $125 this week, and there's 2, if you want to drive by, 2 yachts on our mooring right now. And there's
What
plenty
in
of money in the
Johnson's
town.
Bay right now, this is nice little sailboat, it's been there for weeks and weeks.
When is our other?
That's anchor, that's
Monday,
anchor, they don't pay, they don't have
is
to
that
pay
the
that.
16th? At 3 PM.
Rachel, do you have any meetings?
Me?
Yes, we
Oh,
you
sorry.
skipped Rachel.
Yeah, I know.
No, she asked me a question.
Okay, Rachel's going to say, recycle will be Friday the 13th. No
I'm not
offense to
making it
anybody, but
Yeah.
4 o'clock, right here.
Recycling is superstitious, no.
That's right. And,
And the next AOS meeting is the 19th at 4 p.m. It's on a Wednesday.
For your calendar, remember.
I might have already put that on.
And RLF is Monday the 16th at 3 PM.
I will have a safe harbor meeting shortly, but I don't have a date right now. I'll post it. Yes, just keep prayers coming is what we're light candles and pray.
You got it.
Have a safe harbor anything?
We're in the prayer mode right now.
Just positive thinking.
today is the 4th.
Maybe I'll just throw out there, with school starting, adult ed is still up and running in Lubec. If anybody's looking to want to get their high school education, the high set diploma, contact us or adult, Axiom Adult Ed. They can do it right at the Lubec LCOC.
Has anybody approached them about like skills training or that kind of thing?
I know they do CNA classes.
Yeah,
That's
I know
what it
those. I'm thinking of, small engine repair, boat building.
I'd still like to throw out at the start of the school year that all the kids have fun, work hard, study,
Do your homework,
and thank you to all the teachers.
That's right, for their hard work.
turn off that TV.
Put that phone down.
Their phone. So motion to approve.
Motion to adjourn.
I already seconded it.
All in favor?
Oh, very good.
Yeah, good. Chicken is not burnt.
I'm supposed to go to a party. I'm not going.
Hmm?
I'm supposed to go to a party. I'm not going.
The what party?
Franklin party.
Were there problems, David?
There's a couple of Renee that kind of went offline and a couple times I had to reach.
Going down or too many people watching? What?
What on earth? She tried to file the